Hi, I'm Dennis DeLucia. Recently, I had the opportunity to shoot a webinar with my dear friends Steve Rondinero, Tom Blair, Lindsay Vento, and it was for marching arts education, an operation started and run by the great Tim Hinton. And it would be terrific if you all joined, became members of marchingartseducation.com so that they can continue the great work that they have begun to do in behalf of all the marching arts. So please join, check out their website, marchingartseducation.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Marching Roundtable podcast. This is Tim Hinton, the beast of the marching arts. Of course, I'm the host here of the Marching Roundtable, creator of Marching Arts Education. This is helpful information. There's not a person listening. Actually, there's nobody in the marching arts activity that could not benefit from what we're about to talk about. Getting your students to be band ready, hashtag be band ready. It's very cool. On the line with us today, Tyson Wooters. Tyson, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Tim?
I'm great. Also on the line, Ken Will. Ken, how are you doing?
Great. Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And from Drum Corps International, John DiNovo. John, how are you?
Hi, Tim. Good to see you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys for having this conversation. So we're going to be talking about resources that a whole group of people put together. Everybody has sort of come together. One of the things I love about the whole shutdown and everything we've been through is that it's really brought out everybody's better angels, and so many people are rallying and helping each other, helping their community. A lot of really great things are happening, and this is an example of that. Resources that are available to help you recruit your kids, keep your kids engaged, keep your kids excited, get them ready for the fall that we all are excited about. And hopefully the summer too, summer and the fall we're about to have here in 2021. So Tyson, quickly tell everybody who you are and what your connection is to this.
I'm with Leaders Creating Leaders. It's a company that seeks to help band directors and band students make life a little bit better. Fairly new in the world. Before that, I was a speaker and trainer. I worked with a lot of bands, and before that, I was a band director. So I'm kind of a band guy.
Very good. And Ken, tell everybody where you are in the world and what you do.
Yeah, I teach at the University of Dayton. My name's Kenneth Will. I'm the director of the Pride of Dayton Marching Band. Also here, I teach the concert band, the wind ensemble this past fall. And I had the opportunity to observe student teachers. So actually going and seeing what our student teachers are doing in high schools right now, whether they're in person or what the times that they've had to be remote and adapt and those sorts of things too. So it's kind of been an interesting perspective over the last 12 months.
Wow, there's an angle I hadn't even thought about. This whole thing is like trying to be a student teacher in the middle of this. Very
trying to find a place that'll have student teachers. Our education department and our education coordinator did a really great job finding all that kind of stuff this year.
That is an interesting predicament I hadn't even thought about. John DiNovo, I think everybody knows who you are. You're pretty famous here in the world of Drum Corps and DCI, but tell everybody anyway.
Yeah, I'm John DiNovo. I'm the Director of Business Development for DCI. I handle the corporate sponsorships and the strategic partnerships. I'm also the co-founder of DCI's World Sound Sport program.
Which is very cool. So lots of great things going on. Of course, Drum Corps, we're excited about what looks like it's going to be a great summer experience this summer in 2021. So be band ready. We're talking about resources that are available to help you, whoever you are listening, whatever your role is in this world, whether you're a parent or a director or an instructor or a student or whatever you do, there's something here to help you. So Tyson, you were here at the beginning of this whole thing. Where did this come from?
This came out of the pain of trying to run bands these days. I had so many directors that we talked to were saying, the numbers are down, the recruiting numbers are down. That was, I don't know if it is still the number one fear, but it was the most common thing I was hearing about. Am I going to have a band next year, even if we do have a season? So one of our directors, Lynn Kawamoto at Cal Poly, he just said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if everybody just posted on the same day and made a splash on social media? And we're like, sure, that sounds pretty cool. Sounds like it's fairly easy to accomplish something like that. So we started pushing in that direction. It really was, I guess ostensibly on the surface, it's to keep people in band. Keep playing, be band ready, be ready for band when it starts, keep spinning, keep twirling, keep everything. There's a lot that is meant to address, or that it has started addressing as people kind of let it take a life of its own. But also, I think there's a real need in this space of the band directors world and in the band students world of just feeling like we haven't accomplished a lot in this last year. And we usually we put a show down. You learn the drill and you do the show, and then the crowd claps. And if you have a good day, you get a sense of accomplishment from that. And I think maybe just doing something big feels good. So we started pushing toward that. And then Russ Gavin at Stanford is a good friend of mine and a big deal at LCL, and he just introduced us to the good people at DCI, and they started pushing us toward partnerships. And it just took on a life of its own so fast. I was not prepared for how big it got, how fast it got, and that I'm certain came out of the DCI connection.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 10, really, it's a big 10-week thing that we have going on now. And really, we can use this information all the way through till we get started. John, when DCI signed on, of course, that's a really big deal. You're the big dog in the world of marching. So what happened when DCI got involved? Why did you guys decide to sign on?
Well, we are a big dog, but we're just a small part in the whole process, and it was an honor and a long-term goal of us to partner with college band directors. It's always been an important part of the evolution of you join your band when you're young, you go to high school, you go to college, and somewhere in there you might do indoor or summer DCI. But the big missing component for us was colleges, and we've had communications with colleges, but nothing on a more formalized basis. This really launched us into a collaboration, mutually beneficial. We've created a much better understanding of each other. They're not the enemy, we're not the enemy. We all have similar goals. We're all trying to do very similar things, and we all have very unique strengths that we were able to add together to create a much stronger whole from all the parts. So Russ Gavin is also the director of the Blue Stars Drum and Bugle Corps, and he got us on the phone with a really amazing collection of band directors. And from there, we had this idea about 4 or 5 years ago. Bob Jacobs with DCI actually reached out to a national registry of holidays. There's National Donut Day, and there's National Take Your Daughter to Work Day, and there's National Remote Control Day. There's a day for just about everything. So we went through the process and officially registered March 4th as Marching Music Day. And very quietly over 4 or 5 years, it's become really World Marching Music Day. So we saw that as a great opportunity to take this idea that we all knew we needed to lift, a rising tide lifts all boats. So we used the March 4th holiday as the kickoff to this. And we've kind of termed it a 10-week period of this program, but it's really 10 weeks is just the very beginning. Just because 10 weeks ends doesn't mean the need to be band ready ever ends. It doesn't mean that our partnerships by any stretch have to end. And every day we find someone new that gets on board the program that is benefiting from the connections and the dialogue, and just to go, I've seen you at events, or I've seen your name come up on my LinkedIn, but we've never really connected. This program has united us in a way, and I'm really excited. I'm sure the other guys on the call too are really excited. We've never met in person. So I'm looking forward to the day when we can actually physically all get together and celebrate this, whether it's at a trade show, a Midwest clinic, a TBA, TMEA. And I'll just really quickly say, several years ago, I was standing in TMEA looking across the long, and TMEA, for those who don't know, it's the Texas Music Educators Association, giant trade show. And they have a component of the show where there's just rows and rows and rows of these exhibit booths with these companies like Yamaha and Pearl and Stanbury Uniforms, and DSI, everybody under the sun. And I sat there as a business development person and looked around this room and said, all these people in this room are vying for the attention of band directors, and they want to sell them uniforms. They want to sell them drums. They want to sell them drumsticks. Well, there's only so many students in the band world. And it's a set number. And unless we as a room, the whole TMEA room or the whole Midwest room or the virtual groupings of us all around the world, if we don't start to get together and figure out how to get more kids into band, then we won't have more kids joining band. We won't have more jobs for band directors. Uniform companies won't sell as many uniforms. Drill writers and show designers won't design as many shows or put as many dots on the field. So the more that we can get in at that entry level, it will eventually reach its way. And it's like planting a forest. You've got to plant the seeds now for the forest to be nice and thick in 15 to 20 years. And that's what this partnership is so exciting because it's not too late. We have a long way to go, and it's going to be a challenge ahead, but we're doing something about it, and it's just not a few people sort of dabbling. This is an unprecedented collection of the greatest entities around the marching arts and music ed in general that have combined forces. So I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, what a fantastic way to get everybody connected, because we really are all in the same boat, and we all have the same goals in mind. And really, that's always been true. But you know, our world tends to want to put us all in these little compartments, and we're really all in the same big one. So Ken, you're a college director, so let's talk about your involvement.
John could not have said that better. And you talk about us being in those compartments, and I think we were all pretty comfortable in those compartments for a very long time, and this has forced us to get outside of that. I think one thing we see in the pandemic is that this has affected everybody, period, somehow, but not all of us the same. You know, depending on where you live in the country or the world, it's possible that you've had pretty minimal in-person participation in a band activity over the last 12 months. And if you have been playing, it's likely been quite different. So right now, we know that there are students all over the world who are making decisions about what they're going to be doing next year. So whether they're in middle school, high school, going into college, deciding whether to do a drum corps, indoor group, any of those things, our message to them is that your directors and your teachers right now are working hard to be band ready, and so that you can resume those activities that you love. And it's important for them to understand that, so that when a student makes a decision, they know that we are planning to give them a safe and rewarding experience, and come back strong here in 2021. You know, for us who have been able to do things in person, and at the University of Dayton, we have been lucky enough, especially on the marching band side, since we're outdoors, to do a lot of things in person. I think the teachers who are in that situation are getting the same story. The students are telling them that band, choir, orchestra, it's the best class they have. It's the best part of their day. And that was always the case, but we're really hearing that right now. And even if it's been very, very different than the way that we're used to doing it, there's still a feeling of walking into home whenever they enter their band room or their rehearsal hall or that marching band field. And we want the students who haven't been able to do that to know that that's still going to be there for you real soon here.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's so funny, because one of the things that's come out of this is, like, I really appreciate the things I can't do right now, and I'm not going to take them for granted like I used to. And here we are. We're one of them. You know, like, I got to tell you, John, I cannot wait till I get to stand somewhere and hear a drum corps just peel my face off this summer.
Yeah.
Like, I just cannot wait. And
Right.
I'm going to do whatever I can to be there and support them and experience that for them and for me. So anyway, I'm very excited about, and we all are really getting very optimistic about where this might go. So there are resources available. What does somebody do if they want to use these resources? Let's talk about what these are.
The first step is go to bebandready.com. That's got a place where you can sign up. You put your name in, and you don't have to put your email in if you don't want to, but we sure would like to be able to contact you as well. And then you can get to the media toolkit, which is just a Google Drive folder that's got several different versions. There's some Facebook frames you can use to put on your profile picture and some things like that. And then there's also a link in there that will link to Ultimate Drill Book's webpage. They're the ones that are pushing the 10-week campaign with it. They've got a lot of content on there week by week. And what do we have? We've done 3 weeks of that now, I think.
Yeah.
So thereabouts. So there's several more weeks of that. And there's a lot in there. It's not just come here for a thing to post on social media. There's clarinet practice sessions, and there's how to march this way. And so they're using the content they've got. There's a lot of things you could use on there to be band ready when it comes time for band.
To follow up that, we've heard band directors who have found that content on there to be useful, because it does vary by geography. Some band directors have seen their students quite often in person, and I spoke to a band director in New York last week who signed up for this program, and he said he hasn't seen his students since last March. So he's been in a complete virtual world. He's kind of run out of things to keep the kids engaged and energized. So by assigning these little modules from the UDB, the Ultimate Drill Book campaign, he's got access to a lot of content that just gives you access to some really, really great instructors and some really great educators, saying it in a little bit of a different way. Some of it's really interesting. We had the twirler from, I believe she was from University of Texas. And then we've had yesterday, I think it was one of the brass staff from the cadets. We've got some HBCU content. It's woodwinds, it's brass, it's movement, it's leadership. It really runs the gamut. And that's exciting. It's been really exciting to see the variety and just the diversity. Most importantly, the diversity of the people who have gotten together to get behind this project is really incredible. Again, we hope to build on this. When 10 weeks is over, we hope to be able to start doing these types of things in person, to take these talents that have been doing the virtual lessons and eventually get them in front of people and get a chance to have human interaction again, face to face. But it's been nice, and we're completely open to anyone who's got content that wants to continue to contribute. Reach out to us, because we'll find a way to make it work. This is a living, breathing document, if you will. It's an organic project that I don't think will ever end. It shouldn't ever end. We're never going to get to a point where we've got enough kids doing band or enough kids that are band ready for summer and fall. So if you're a music educator, if you'd like to reach out with, maybe you've got a special series of drills or lessons that you do within your school and you'd like to share it your way, by all means, let's share that with the greater world. And that's a key point too, the world. When we started to sign on partners, we originally were focused kind of domestically on the United States, and very quickly it turned into the Indonesian Drum Corps Association signed on, the association in Japan, Marching in Okayama, Drum Corps United Kingdom, Bands of Ireland, and you'll see Tyson there scrolling the list. It's over 50 partners from just amazing places far and wide. So to see the content showing up overseas is great too, because we really are. We've been the center of the marching band universe. It kind of originated here, but the world is catching up very quick. We've had these conversations many, many times, but they're having the same problems we are. They're having the same struggles we are. So this isn't just a recovery here in the States. This is a world recovery of the band activity. And a healthy band activity in the United States means a healthy band activity worldwide. And again, it's a lot of people giving up just a little bit of time each, but that collective result is going to be massive over time.
Yeah, just John, real quick, I want to note, you said reach out to us if you want to contribute something. We absolutely can upload into that Google folder. Some bands have given us things like, we made a thing with our colors on it about Be Band Ready, but here's the raw file, so you can swap out your colors and put in, or our colors, put in yours, or put your own mascot on them, or whatever it would be. So I'm loving seeing the organic projects that have come out of it as well.
Right. That's important, I think, for if you're a band and you may want to just look within your own hallways of your school, or is get your kids fired up and motivated. If you've been going along, great, keep them motivated. If you're trying to get them back, it's tough. I mean, people's habits have changed, where there's certain things that we as a society may never do again on a grand scale. We may never go to the movie theaters. I hope we do, but we may never go back the way we used to. So your time spent in movie theaters is going to be spent doing something else. And we hope that we don't have that similar thing happen in band, where kids have had a little bit of time to sit on the couch and start scrolling through their phones and find Reddit and YouTube and everything else that you can, divert your attention. We hope they get back into band. We hope that they love that human interaction. They want to be with their friends. Making music by yourself's fun. It's cool to an extent. There's nothing like, and Tim, you said it right off the bat, just you want to hear that wall of sound. That can't happen over a Zoom call, and it doesn't happen with somebody in a practice room. It's an ensemble thing. That's why we do this. It's this world collection of people getting together, and that's what we're striving to get back to. And if we can all just do our little bit of part to give it that push, it's kind of a snowball rolling downhill. Let's just get this thing building and growing, and I think the world's starting to get a little bit more optimistic about where we might be by summer and certainly by next fall. If we waited until we're in the clear, we'll be so far behind that we may never recover. So I think the timing was right for this, and it's never too late to get on board with the program. If you want to get involved, I really recommend, if you're out there listening to this, whoever you are, go to BeBandReady.com, sign up, commit yourself that you are going to be #BeBandReady, and just share the content. If you are a student somewhere and you just want to share some of the content that's coming out of this because you know some of your friends are going to see it, it might make your band more successful come fall or come band camp season. Or if you're in a drum corps, an indoor line, if you're a teacher, if you're at the high school level, it might be that the next middle school student might see this and be inspired by a lesson that's being presented as part of the content. And, you know, if you're in school right now, start thinking about where you want to go to college and start researching the schools and looking at the bands and the music programs, and pick that one out now and get that on your radar so you've got that to work towards. You know, and if DCI or WGI or any of those are on your in your future as well, you know, make it happen. Just make it happen. It's we got a lot of time to work on it, so there's a lot of free time in people's lives right now. So you know, we're all rooting for everybody. I think we're all rooting for each other. That's what I kind of got out of this program. Is, like you said earlier, I think Tyson said, we're all kind of in these individual you know, lanes. We all kind of stayed in our lane. Well, we're just having a giant pool party right now with cannonballs and water guns and everything else. Yeah.
You know, Ken, as John mentioned, now is the time to do this. If anybody's listening, you don't need to wait to start using these resources and recruit. And you, as somebody out there in the trenches, can speak to that.
Yeah, I was thinking when John was talking just about this human interaction that we crave, and especially with making music, because it's so much different than interacting with a computer or with a digital sound file or something. You know, this time last year, I was organizing my first virtual band project at the University of Dayton, and we did 2 or 3 of those, and we had some fun with them. But when we got together in the fall and we were able to play that first chord as a group together, it certainly was not the most in tune I've ever heard in my life. It certainly wasn't the best tone quality, but it very well might be the most moving moment I've had in a rehearsal, just to hear humans together making music or making sounds like that again. And it's worth it. I mean, just getting back to that is worth it, because it's such a moving experience.
That just gave me goosebumps, because I thought of schools around the country and around the world getting together and having that first time where they say, okay, horns up, 1, 2, ready, play. And that whatever that sound is, it could be god awful, but it would be glorious because it's a sound with humans making it all in the same room. Mm-hmm. If you are a group like that, making that moment, record it, send it in to Be Band Ready, and let's start celebrating, you know, those moments of it, sort of like spring where the flowers are starting to bloom again. Let's start to celebrate these little successes as we go along, because, you know, we haven't had much to celebrate the last 12 months or so. So we're due.
Well, it gives you a lot of new faith in society. That we see, and you know, anyone listening to this podcast knows that the band students are special. But it's really uplifting to observe it in the middle of a pandemic like this, and just see how you know, your group rallies around each other and makes sure that, you know, observing safety protocols and really caring for one another the way that the band students do. And you know, if you haven't had a chance to actually get involved, I would say the first step is finding a way to mobilize that same culture that you use to build a great performance and put on the show that you want, and making the same commitment to, you know, safety and getting reestablished as to how to act as a society. You know, you're gonna have students who aren't quite ready to go or aren't quite confident being in a large group like that, and you're gonna need to bring them along and thinking of ways to do that. And for me personally, I can't think of a better way to do that than being around band people and being around a group that's going to care about you, and with teachers and professors and corps directors and all of that sort of thing that will care about your well-being in the process of doing that.
Yeah, I think I hate to assume that I or my group is special in general, but I'm thinking about all the coaches out there who, whatever sport, whose numbers are down because students are on the couch instead of in their practices or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm certain, you know, it must be different across different activities and whatnot, but I'm certain that same thing is going on. But how easy is it to get all these band people together and do a thing? We organize like ants coming out of an anthill. It's cool.
Yeah.
If
When
you're
we get back together too, things will be different, and maybe our priorities will shift and change, and maybe it'll be a little bit less about competition initially and just more about music making and being relevant to your community, and maybe taking a little bit more pride in the 4th of July parade or the homecoming parade, or things that we normally kind of as band we sort of say, oh, that's, you know, that's just something we have to do in between band contests. I think that now, like we said earlier, not taking anything for granted. You know, I'll go sit through a pep rally any day right now, you know, just to get fired up to hear that sound and to see a parade in person.
What's it like to watch March Madness and not hear any bands? You know, and if you
Right.
do hear a band, it's on the loudspeaker, and that's totally different. They're not there cheering on the team. It's something that's definitely missing from the tournament this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was just going to say that as we rebuild. I'm sorry, Tyson. We're
no,
getting
it's your turn. I'm stopping.
That's why when we're in person, this will all work much better. I'll quickly. I'll just say that I think that if you're a band director or a music teacher, if you come back and you really look at your school and the importance of music at the school itself, the fight song, the alma mater, and just being relevant in your school, you're gonna get the support of the administration and the principal, and there might be funding involved, and you're gonna make yourself an indispensable aspect. You know, there are cutting programs, not band programs, but they're cutting sports and they're cutting non-essential things. Don't make yourself non-essential. I tell a lot of people all the time, I say, if you've got a band program, you need to know your principal's birthday, and you better have happy birthday memorized so you can march right through his office on his birthday and play happy birthday. And then a couple weeks later, just say, oh, by the way, we'd really need an extra few buses to go to the state championships, or we need a marimba or something like that. You know, it's so simple. It's so easy. If every band made it a tradition to wow the school principal and administration, I think we could get a lot farther. It's what we do anyway. So
that reminds me of. Sorry, I did it again. You reminded me of something Tim Anderson said early on. He's like, I already called the governor. Whenever there's a grand reopening from this thing, my band is going to be there.
There you go.
So call the mayor, call whoever, and get your band to be the relevant one in town.
Yeah.
Glad you said that, John, because I've actually had a lot of conversations with band directors who've talked about how they've re-engaged with their community and things like playing concerts in the park or marching in a local parade. Like, this has really been one of the positive outcomes of all of this is we need to be engaging with our community and show them how important we are. And I think people are going like, oh, wow, I'm so glad the band's here because of the situation we're in. So I think it's nice that you mentioned that.
Yeah. And that's what, you know, I think we're trying to teach kids how to perform. And if it's, you know, if the lifelong lesson isn't to perform on a stage or on a field, it's to perform on a podcast one day, or in a job interview, or in a sales presentation, or up on a stage with a PowerPoint deck. You know, those you're learning how to sell. You're learning how to perform in band, and to not take that for granted. You know, it's to get out and perform, get out there in front of people, and, you know, get out and do it.
So if you're listening to this, you are not alone out there. All of us are struggling with this, but there are a lot of resources and people trying to help. Everybody banding together to make this work. Just go to the website, Be Band Ready, and you will see there are all the list of companies and schools and colleges and everybody that have signed on that are part of this. You can join that effort, and there's stuff to help you here. So let's go around final thoughts. Tyson, what would you like to say in closing?
Man, in closing, it's just been neat to partner up with everybody like this. I'm so excited to not be doing anything alone in the band world ever again. I think we just got enough good friends that we can reach out anytime, and that's fabulous.
Yeah.
In terms of getting people to, you know, we're doing hashtag keep playing and Be Band Ready, but also hashtag start playing I've seen out there, and just think about all the beginners that didn't start this year. All the 6th grade band people that aren't in 6th grade playing band, and that's going to feel painful in 6 years at the college level, and it's going to, you know, 2 years at the high school level. So starting playing is a big focus here. I want, like John said, I want as many people in band and in music as possible. Yes, because it's good for us and as an entity, but also because I think it's good for them. I think they're going to get a lot out of it, just like I did.
Right. Yeah, Ken, what would you say in closing?
I think two things for teachers right now to be thinking of and considering is for their own students, whether it be coming back to their program next year or keep playing in the middle school going to high school or high school going to college or whatever it may be. I always kind of laugh that there's been like if you're a senior in high school and you're playing your last spring concert, that after that there's this ceremony that students go through where they close their case and that's my last band concert. This is the last time I'm putting my instrument away. And if you have a conversation about them joining band after that, there's no breaking through that. So talk to your students right now. Now's the time to make sure that they're making a lifelong commitment to music and not just having it be something that they did in their teenage years and then they set the horn and it started to collect dust after that. So have that conversation with your students. That's one thing. The second thing is to have these conversations with your colleagues. I think one thing that's been the most beneficial for me over the last 12 months is talking to other band directors, talking to other music teachers and picking their brains, hearing what they're planning, sometimes having validation for what I'm thinking or talking it through and realizing that I'm crazy for thinking a certain thing. Those conversations are invaluable right now. And in a time where I think nobody wants to be the only one doing something, we all kind of want to be sharing those ideas and thoughts. So talk to your students, talk to your colleagues, I think, and especially if you're having a hard time and hitting a wall at the end of this year. We need teachers. We need good music teachers, good band directors, choir, orchestra, whatever it is. Talk to other people, stick with it. And look at that list on Be Band Ready. And you'll see other schools, other teachers, and if you need to reach out, any of those people will be happy to talk.
Yeah, good point. We're all community here. John, final thoughts from you.
I think Tyson and Ken summed it up perfectly, but I'll just add that we're stronger together than we are apart. We've brought some amazing partners together. So let's support one another, and we thank March and Roundtable for its support, Tim for everything that you always do, and just go out and be band ready. It's pretty simple, it doesn't not rocket science.
I love it. Well, let's make it happen, everybody. Use the resources. Let's band together and make this happen. John, Tyson, Ken, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
I'd like to share 3 important reasons why you need to take advantage of marchingartseducation.com and the resources that Tim Hinton has put together for anyone involved in the marching pageantry arts world. Number 1, we've heard the expression that experience is the best teacher. And the truth of the matter is, that's the biggest lie we tell ourselves. Experience isn't the best teacher. Other people's experience. Now that's the best teacher, because you can learn from all the mistakes they made and how they figured out how to make it work and not make those mistakes yourself. The second reason is if you're a fan of Stephen Covey, you know the phrase sharpening the saw and how we all need to take time to keep learning. And in our world especially, the people who are most successful are the ones who are constantly learning and growing and developing their craft of teaching and designing and making this thing work for them in their situation with their students in their school or community or environment. And number 3, it's the most cost-effective way to gain an advantage like that, because you could take a marching band methods course somewhere in America at the college level, undergraduate or graduate. But for an undergraduate credit hour, you're going to spend $530. And for a graduate level course, in the United States right now, it's $631 per credit hour. When you can make a small investment each month and have access to an entire catalog of materials and instruction and ideas that will serve you well, way beyond the cost of admission. Marchingartseducation.com might be your secret weapon for a more successful future in the pageantry world.